All right, while we have this going, I'm just going to quickly connect up the fundraiser to this live stream since I'm doing it on mobile, and then we'll get started. It's also not live right now to the public, but it might appear in the replay, so if you're watching it right now, I do apologize. Anyway, let me get this whole thing sorted out, and we will begin. I'm just on my computer here. Just click that, add videos, there we are, wonderful. Okay, so the fundraiser should be live now. I just need to actually just quickly find it and then set the live stream to live, and I think we should be good to go. Okay, so there is that. Let's just have a click here to make sure everything is working correctly. Yeah, okay, so we got the live stream, the fundraiser is connected. And yeah, I'll set it to public, and hopefully some people will start joining in. Alright then, we should be live now. Let's get some trains going in here. Hope to see some people join in very soon. Anyway, well, it looks like we already have one viewer. Welcome to whoever that is. I'm just going to remove my phone from the tripod here, and we'll get the big boy going with the special lighted cars. I had to pull these out of storage. I don't know if there were just four, I feel like there was one more car. But anyway, let's get this thing rolling. Oh boy, we've already got a whole bunch of people joining in. Welcome, everyone. So yeah, the point of this live stream is to raise money for the International Food Bank, which is an organization which basically assists food banks all around the world. So it helps to put food on people's tables. Really good cause. And last year we did a fundraiser, and it was quite successful. We actually managed to raise $500. So yeah, I think we will try to do that once again. And basically the deal is if you donate any amount, you know, even if it's a small donation, it still counts. If just as long as the engine works, I'll run it for you as like a thing. And last year the donations actually appeared in the chat. So hopefully it's the same case again this year, because yeah, I will say the names of people who donate if they put them in there. Yeah. Let's look at this. Can you please run the big boy for me? Well, I think your wish is granted there. It seems to keep getting stuck on this particular piece of track. I don't have money on my kid. It's all right, you know. Obviously, nobody has to donate, but again, even a dollar, it's still something towards charity. I should also note that YouTube takes care of the entire transaction, so they actually cover off the administrative fees and everything else. So it's really nice, and I also appreciate that, because then I don't have to provide receipts or anything, because I have zero involvement with that. It's all YouTube. A really good program on their part, I will say. Run the Blue Goose. Unfortunately, that engine does not run. Anyway, I'm just going to set this up right here. And let's see. Oh, I don't like that piece of track. I'm going to crank up the power a little. Oh, it's shorted. That's weird. Come on. I don't know what that was about. Oh, there we go. So somebody donated $8. So thank you to whoever that was. I didn't see a message. It might have just been on its own. But that's terrific. Anyway, I have to help kick things off here. Let me get in here too. There we go. So we now have $100 from the channel itself in the chat. Looks like we might have received another one. There we are. We're already up to 96. So think somebody else might have already donated as well. So, well, it's 100 Canadian, so it's a little lower, but still counts. Hi from Wisconsin. Bnsf. Yeah, we can put a Bnsf one on, especially since this thing seems to keep struggling. It's weird, because I got two of these big boys. One of them goes over this part fine, but it derails on a corner. This one doesn't derail on the corner, but it gets caught up. Do you think you could run a via rail locomotive? Maybe. So what happened to the Blue Goose? The Blue Goose, part of the drive shaft is broken, so the motor starts up. The engine just doesn't move. Anyway, I'm gonna go get that Bnsf unit. Can you run a Grand Trunk? Sure. Cheap CSX. What's it? Oh, this thing. Yeah, okay. This is a Royal Blue work. Unfortunately, that doesn't run either. I need to get that one going once again. Run the Paramarquette. I don't have the, I don't have that. Now let's get this wonderful thing going. Hello from Quebec. Hey, I got another Quebecer in here. Bonjour. I don't speak French so well. Yeah, a lot of people. All right, I think I've already got the code for this guy, so. Yes, there we go, wonderful. So much more quiet than the River Rossi. Daylight next. Daylight doesn't run. Liam, welcome. Ayo, Quebec, salut. Does BNSF still do their Christmas train? I wasn't aware of a BNSF Christmas train. I was aware CN does one. I don't think it's terribly exciting, but of course there's the Canadian Pacific Holiday Train, which, yeah, I don't want to plagiarize or anything, but it's based off of that very much. So, yeah, that's always fun, and that's also raising money for food banks. So, major props to Canadian Pacific for that. Gonna stream tomorrow at Smith Falls, maybe. What is the number on the front of and back of that BNSF unit? 4926? Can you fix my Grand Trunk SD40-2 for me? I'm not doing repairs for people at the moment, but if you need any tips, contact scrumptiousmodeltrains@gmail.com, and I'll try to help you as best I can. Run the $3 locomotive. It deserves some love. We can run that one later. Again, the main focus is about the charity in this stream, so I hope we can get it up a bit higher, but whatever we can do, it counts. How long have you had your layout? Well, I got this layout in 2007, and I'm pleased to say I've now been in the hobby for 15 years, because I joined December 25th, 2006, so boy, oh boy, what a time. Please run 6060. We can do that. I have to get some engines in the queue that were requested, though, so we're going to run the budget CSX, and yeah, let's go get out. I mean, this one's kind of special because I did get this around Christmas. I think it was in 07, actually. Yeah. Can you help me with my layout? Well, I'm happy to try to give you any advice you need. J. Cure, I hope I pronounced your name right, donated $10. Thank you so much. I don't see any message attached to it, but very much appreciated. I'm going to pull the stream up on my computer. Just sometimes mobile versions of these messages are a bit different, so I just want to double check to make sure that it's not possible that maybe, there we go. Just want to make sure that there isn't a more in detailed, yeah, there is an option not to put a message. I just want to make sure I'm not missing anything. There we are. So I've got it pulled up there. Can I see a tank engine? Maybe so. I'm just going to stop this train and put the budget CSX one on. Can you run an AC? What, like an AC 4400? How do you do budget model railroading? Mostly buying used stuff. You can really keep the costs down that way. It's a lot more challenging, I will say, because you do have to be more creative. You know, things are not going to usually work as well as buying new, but yeah, if you're willing to buy some used stuff, you can lower the cost a lot. Especially going to like a train show, you can usually get some really good deals on stuff. Where do you buy your trains? Whole variety of places. A lot of them are just from good old bricks and mortar train stores. Probably where the majority of them come from is brick and mortar stores. And then, of course, you got the internet. You got Amazon, eBay, all that kind of stuff. So there's that. And then, yeah, you got antique shops. Once in a while you can find something. And there is also train shows, although in my case we haven't had those here for a while. But train shows are usually where you find the best deals. How are things doing tonight, SMT? Not bad, Rapid Transit Fan 2010. Thank you for joining in. I like the layout, SMT. I'm going to be getting mine reassembled and fixing some old 00 gauge British locos in stock. My dad hasn't seen in over 25 years now. That's awesome. If you can fix them up and repair broken parts, it's much cheaper to buy used. Absolutely. And buying spare parts, I mean, sometimes you're lucky and you can find spare parts, but generally, if you can just glue the parts back together, you save a ton of time and energy, because trying to track down parts and then buy them is usually a very timely and expensive process. So, and Etsy's okay. It's kind of like a watered down eBay in my opinion. Not as many listings, but I've had some fun buying stuff on there. I want to do another buying shady model trains on eBay or Etsy, though. I always have a good time doing those. North American Trains, welcome. How are you? Liam donated $5. Thank you so much. I think there is a spot to put a message, so I'm not sure if people are putting messages or what the case is. Let me check on here, see if... I don't see any message attached to it. Good. You run the big boy. We already ran that one, so if there's something else, it might be better. I'm doing pretty good. How are you doing? Huh? I can't complain. Pretty happy. It's good to be doing this stream, too. I do apologize to everybody. I did say I was going to do this stream around 4, but headed out to the farm, and they had a whole thing happening. I was only going to visit for, like a half hour or something like that. And, it is a drive to get there, but... I was out there, and then a cow was born. Nobody was expecting that. Wasn't planned at all, so kind of had to step in a bit there. But, yeah, still doing the stream. So that's what matters. See if we can get some different angles here. You run an F unit. Oh, I don't see why not. We're going to run the bullet nose first, though. Question, have you ever played Roadblocks? Never have. Tyler R. donated $5 Canadian. Thank you so much, Tyler. Oh, you're getting that funny. We're already up to $114. Terrific work. What happened to the Blue Goose? The drive shaft isn't working right. Thanks for running it. No problem, Joy. Anyway, next up. I get that bullet nose going. You run the nice brass 262. Maybe so. I'll let this go around for one more lap. What's the fundraiser for? It's for the International Food Bank Network, which is a charity which basically works alongside countless food banks around the world. So yeah, they help do fundraising for that. So I've done some research. I think they are a good organization. $134. Okay, we just went up. I don't know if somebody just put in a large donation. I didn't see one, but somebody did donate. Thank you so much. Put the Royal Hudson in front of the train. We can do that in a bit, but we're going to get the 6060 on first. Can you run Nickel Plate Road 779? I don't know if I have that engine. I got for Christmas a ton of small LEDs. I almost finished putting 2 in one of my DCC sand locomotives, but when I was trying to put the shell on, something shorted. Oh no. Yeah, model trains. You work on them once. Usually you open them up again not long after. Takes a few tries sometimes to get something working quite right. Anyway, here's this thing. Question, how do you raise the roads to the height of the tracks at a railroad crossing? I don't know if I would recommend doing it this way, but I just used drywall plaster. I just kind of got it up, and then I took a knife and just carved out the grooves for the flanges, threw some paint on it, took a track cleaning, like a track bright, and scraped off the excess paint, and to me this looks decent. And it's great too, because you know you can carve it and sand it and everything to make it exactly how you want it. So that's what I did. How's Nerf Cat? Nerf Cat's great. He's yeah, it was so funny. My aunt put together these catnip toys for him, and they had such a strong smell he could actually smell them in the bag. So on Christmas morning, he was walking around all the gifts, and we unwrapped them for him, and he was just having a great time. SMT, do you have any Conrail units? Today is my dad's anniversary for working at Conrail, but then after CSX and Norfolk Southern and CSX split, he now works at Norfolk Southern. Can you run a Conrail unit? Well, somebody wanted the $3 engine, which is a Conrail unit, so sure. Do you have any Mantua locomotives like Camelback or 2662s? I have Mantua engines. I don't have one like that, though. Just going to move that over. Cool, you have a Sound and Power 7000. It's a pretty cool controller. I can imagine back in the 70s or 80s when they came out with this thing. Must have been quite the fancy toy. I have an old Rock Island AHM Tempo M14. I had to crack it open 19 times, and I'm not even getting it close to making it run smooth. Yeah, it can be like that sometimes. And the thing is, too, you know, some engines, the parts are just worn out, or they just weren't, you know, designed or built perfectly. So like an old Tyco, for example, you know, trying to make one of those run perfectly is a very difficult task. Hey, SMT, I got an Alaska Railroad log crane for Christmas. What did you get? Oh, I got some fun things. My parents got me these 2 Canadian Pacific intermodal, well, I don't know what you would call them, containers, that's it. And then I also asked for some model cars for the layout, and yeah, I got a whole variety of those. So that's all real fun. Got this cool Firestone truck, and I think over here it's like a True Value What's the worst locomotive in your collection? I'm not entirely sure, to be honest with you. I have this old Lifelike, which is pretty rough. It's not a bad engine, though. It does run fine. Anyways, let's run the $3 Conrail engine. Hey, SMT, is there going to be another Christmas layout contest next year? We'll see. The last couple, well, there's now been 3 of them, if you can believe that, and I would say they've all been a success, so I don't see why I wouldn't want to do another one next year. What are your thoughts on using Hot Wheels cars on your layout? Well, I mean, there's nothing wrong with it, and I've seen a lot of people do that before. Personally, I don't find they really fit the scale of a layout very well, so I don't really do that, but yeah, like I said, you know, if you like putting I don't know. A message that I really like to discuss on this channel is, you know, you're building a layout for yourself. A club layout is a bit of a different story because, you know, it's you and a bunch of other people, so maybe other people's opinions matter a little more, but if you're building a layout, you know, it's your thing, and if you like it, that's what matters, because I think a lot of people, you know, will take criticism from others, you know, on the internet very seriously over that, and it's understandable. I mean, you know, it's not nice for somebody to say bad things about your layout, and if somebody has good advice for you, that's totally fine. People have given me all sorts of bits of advice I've listened to in building this layout, but you know, there's all sorts of things on this layout which are like horribly unrealistic. I mean, look at this thing. I've got like a tunnel, like it makes no sense, but it's how I want it, you know, it's my layout, so that's the rule, in my opinion, people should be applying to their layouts. It's yours, not to appease random people on the internet. Well, here's that $3 engine. This thing does not run bad, I gotta say. What is a split chassis? A split chassis is a type of design. It was more common years ago, where basically manufacturers would literally have this chassis split into 2 metal frames connected with little bits of plastic. The idea is you have positive and current on one side and negative on the other. A lot of the old Bachmans are like that, but they're not too common anymore. There were a lot of flaws to the design. I don't know if I have one I could show right now. Question: what's your favorite PRR locomotive? What would you like to be able to drive from the PRR in real life? Oh, I think I gotta say the GG1. I mean, it's so iconic and such an interesting locomotive. Yeah, GG1. Hi, SMT, how are you doing today? Can you please run the big boy? We already ran the big boy, so I prefer to run something else. Might run it again, though. It is a popular item. You have a big boy. Well, I've got 2 of the devils. Hi, SMT. Hope you had a good Christmas. I had a great Christmas. I wish the same on to everyone else. Run the Bachmann -8. Oh, hell, I don't see why not. Let's do it. Have you ever heard of the Clinchfield Railroad? No, I can't say I have. SMT, I got an MRC Tech 3 controller just like yours for Christmas. It's a big improvement from the Bachmann starter set controller I had before. I would imagine so. Yeah, I'm sure you'd notice your engines probably can go a lot faster now, since one of those can put out a lot more volts, but also if you have a big layout, this is way higher in amperage. I think this controller can put out something like 5 amps. So, you know, when you're running multiple trains, that's where you really see a difference in power. But, yeah, I love the MRC Tech 3. It's just so great. Yeah, volts, you know, that can be helpful. Well, volts, I should say. Current draw over here. You know, it's such a good indicator on how well an engine's running. And it also tells you if something's shorted. It's very, very helpful. And I got an 80s super glossy ATSF F7A and B unit. Also got a Burlington Northern FP7 and an 11 metric cars for my Metro racetrack. That's awesome. Yeah, I love the old Bachmann glossy F units. So unrealistic, but I admire the novelty of it. Whoa, I don't know what that was about. Stuff's like falling over down here. Scared me. Hey, SMT, can you run the runaway train consist? Oh, I don't see why not. Sounds like something's not making a connection. Like, make sure the engine's sitting evenly on the track. With the AHMs, make sure all the wipers are connected to the wheels, because, you know, maybe if when you add weight, it's causing the engine to tilt a bit. The one wheel, which is picking up power, is not working right. Laggy. Yeah, I'm sorry. The stream has been having some connection issues this evening. I do apologize for that. I don't know why, but anyway. Question, would you get a Bachmann sand value 260 or 460? Probably a 460. What's your favorite British railway locomotive you own? Could you run it by chance? The favorite one I own would probably be the Scotsman, but it's a 3-rail AC engine, so I can't run it, unfortunately. Can you run a British locomotive? I suppose so. I only have one which runs really well, but, well, I shouldn't say really well. One that does run. This thing, for the most part, is pretty good, but it is a tender-driven engine, so it's not mint, but it was a gift, so it's... Can't complain about that. Yeah, I don't know. It's so weird. It just keeps randomly cutting out. Oh well. Unfortunately, this locomotive has a different coupling system, but I might have a way around that. Hahaha. Yeah, I don't think that's gonna work as well as I might have thought. I don't know. Is there a way to hook that around this part? So you got a British friend there, right? They've only got British trains with this kind of coupler. This is what you do. Serenity. Do you want a Rock Island locomotive? Yeah, I got a few. This is running way better than it was last time. Fantastic. Let that go around for a couple more rotations, and then I think we'll switch it up again. Oh, looks like the British engine finally came uncoupled. I guess we'll switch things up a little faster than I thought. Hey, SMT, have you heard of the Buffalo and Pittsburgh Railroad? Runs through my town of Brockway, Pennsylvania. Okay, I admit that's a nice British unit. Yeah, I like the colors on it. It's very fancy. Now, on running a brass engine, let's see if I can dig one of those up. First, I got this thing, which pretty sure I did some work on. I don't know if I showed this in a previous live stream, but I actually did some work on this recently, and I believe it improved how well it runs. Do any KCS locomotives? I don't think so. Which is your oldest train? The oldest one, to my knowledge, is the Hiawatha, which was all right, there we go. Might set this camera up on a tripod. Maybe it will help with the lagging issues. I thought, hey, SMT, do you have a Discord? No, well, I have a Discord account, but no server. Anyway, what do people want next? Could you drift the Centennial? I can't because of the track. One of the frogs. I've wired it into the layout, but it will cause. It's hard to explain. Basically, we just short. Could you run a TGV? Yeah, sure. Do you have any Camelbacks? Yeah. Got 2 of those. Both. One of them's CN. I forget what the other one is. I wish there was something I could do about the lag, but it's not really within my control. It's possible. Maybe there's too many people using the internet. I don't know. Anyway, let's get that TGV going. Too many people streaming TV shows tonight. I wouldn't be surprised. I have relatively strong internet here, but I don't know. I don't know if, first of all, just a public line with all your neighbors using it too probably slows things down. And even in this house, there's probably 2 or 3 people watching something right now online, so that might be slowing it down a little bit. Anyway, let's get this thing going. Hey SMT, I know it's been a while and you probably don't remember me, but I finally saw. Okay, I already read that comment. All right, SMT, I hope you're having a great day. Sorry I can't donate, but I hope you're having a nice day. Yeah, well, that's all right. Thank you so much for joining. Do you have any P42s? Yeah, I got a couple of those. It's Mark Zuckerberg's fault. Oh boy. I think there's supposed to be a car between these 2 pieces. I hope that's over there, because if it's not, I don't know where it would be at. Huh. Okay, then. Okay, hold on a hot minute here. Let me just see if I can steal it off the other TGV. Yes, I can. Good. just need to plant this set of wheels like so. The 2GV is Mahano. Yes, it is. How did that come? Well, they're meant to be pulled apart. I don't know where that center piece went. That's what I'm kind of wondering. Merry Christmas, everyone. Am I the only one wondering what happened to the huge unrealistic Santa Fe you made? Nothing happened to it. It's right up there on the shelf. I will probably work on that engine though, because if I add on a AHM drive, those can actually pivot 90 degrees as well, so it shouldn't be a problem. Also, I don't know how this got here, but I'm just noticing it's the center for the cars. Good. It froze. I hope your Christmas was a fantastic one. It sure was. Thank you. What were those Christmas lights on the box cars? I found them at a dollar store and just glued them on. How's the old Hobbytown drive coming along? Have you cried uncle yet and need my help? That locomotive is a nightmare. I was fighting with that thing for hours the other day trying to get it running. I did actually succeed. Video on the way, but my goodness, that's been a lot of effort. So much time and effort. Did you get any locomotives for Christmas? No locomotives. I did get some container cars for my intermodals and also a whole bunch of vehicles for the layout. Have you heard of a Hustler Climax engine? Oh, it's the same as regular Climax engine, yes. Dear SMT, I have 10. I have 12 by 5 foot, and I have a hobby shop near me. 12 locomotives, and there's snow outside. Also, can you run the huge Union Pacific? Yeah, like the Centennial? Do you have any recommendations for a locomotive to get as a starter, or is it really what you just feel you like? I mean, yeah, ultimately you should choose something that you're going to want. I wouldn't just buy an engine for the sake of buying one. But a good starting locomotive, I think right now, if you're just looking to get an engine, is one of these Walters ones. They have these in a whole bunch of different paint schemes on Amazon, and for a budget engine, they're good. If you have a bit more money, you might want to go for maybe a Kato or an Atlas, something more like that. But yeah, if you just want a good budget starter engine, one of those Walters ones, it's pretty good. If you're willing to buy used too, old Athearn blue boxes are fantastic. You can buy those for like 20 bucks, and yeah, they're generally really low maintenance, and they're good pullers. They're not the most realistic, but if you just want a cheap engine, it's not gonna let you down, get a blue box. The hardest train I've worked on is a Rock Island GP38 4310 American Railfan. I finally got it running. It took me from November 12th to December 18th to get it just to start running. Sounds like quite a challenge. I got a Bachmann starter set for Christmas. Both engines are DCC, and have really loud engines, not DCC sound, by the way. Any ideas on how to fix, or should they sound like that? Probably not. Brand new Bachmann engine should be quite quiet. If you bought it from Amazon or something like that, I would probably suggest returning it and getting a new one, because yeah, that's a really bad sign. Bachmann theoretically does have a lifetime warranty, and if it's a brand new set, you should be able to use that, but I think you have to pay $35 as like a shipping, service, and handling fee. So that's just something to keep in mind. And you run a big boy. Sure, I'll take, we'll put the lit up cars back on. We'll start running those in. SMT, do you still open parcels you receive in the mail on camera, or are there too many? Oh no, I still do. I just haven't opened one in a while, but I've got a few. There's this one big box that I'm really excited to have a look at. So yeah, there is going to be some unboxings on the way. I just want to have a bit more variety of content, because last year I was doing a crazy amount of unboxings, and I don't know. I just don't think they were quite as exciting that way. Hey SMT, I have the battery-operated mini Polar Express set from, was it Lionel who makes that? Hey Harrison, can you run a train on your logging layout? Maybe so. It'd have to be a small engine though. Anyway, let's get this TGV off and run some other stuff. Well, the big boy is what was requested, so we'll run that. Hey, SMT, what HS scale locomotive would you recommend? Well, it really all depends on what you're looking for. Alright, so there's the big boy. Hey, SMT, are you planning to upgrade the layout and add more to it or no? Absolutely. I mean, that whole area over there is basically in the works. In fact, tomorrow, I'm hoping to go up to Larkspur Line, because every year they usually have a Boxing Day and a New Year's sale, and I'd really like to stop in and take advantage of that so I can buy some switches and things like that for the extension, because they are quite expensive. Sorry about this, I'm having a bit of a time hooking up this car right here. All right. Boxing Day is the day after Christmas. Yes, it is. I really don't understand why it keeps getting stuck there. Oh boy. You said you would run a GT. Eventually. How do you fix a modern Bachmann locomotive with a seized motor? I don't know. That's not very common unless it was involved with like a flood or something. I don't know if how serviceable those motors are, but the best thing to do would be to open it up and try to get any rust out. Again, I really don't know why a motor would be seized, though. That's quite odd. What's the oldest train you own? I think it's the Hiawatha. Harrison just popped in to wish you a happy New Year's. Happy Boxing Day. May 2022 will be a better, healthier year for anyone. Yes, I really hope it will be. Thank you so much, Joella. Hope I'm pronouncing your name right. I'm not great with that. What's your favorite part about Christmas? I think it's just getting together with friends and family. You know, I think everybody gets real caught up with their lives, their jobs, everything like that, and it's just nice for there to be a holiday which kind of forces everybody to get together. I mean, I don't know, force is kind of the wrong word because, you know, everybody's should be doing it because they want to, but it's just it's a good reason to. That's what I should say. So, I think that's it. Now, let's get some other locomotives going here. You ran the runaway train contest. I did say I was gonna run that, but I'll get that Grand Trunk one going, and then we'll get the 1985 runaway train running. Now, where's that Grand Trunk one at? Okay, apparently this engine doesn't have any couplers, but I'll just run it around for a lap. We're on a no-scale train. Probably 43K since I subscribed. Oh, thanks for joining in. No snow in Pennsylvania. I'm surprised to hear that. We do have some on the ground over here. So there's the Grand Trunk. Now let's get the 80s runaway train running. How does that sound? I subscribed at 3K. Oh, I got one of the originals. Can you run an SD40-2? Well, I'm pretty sure we just did. No snow in Ontario, Canada. Well, I think it depends on what part of Ontario we were in, because I'm basically in Ottawa, and I can tell you, we do have snow on the ground here. Anyways, let's get this legend going. I wonder which was more powerful, the 4 locomotives from Runaway Train or the 2, I don't know what they were, AC 4400s from Unstoppable. I'm sure somebody will know the answer. 46 raised. Okay, the donations have gone up again. Sweet. Yeah, I forgot about that problem. One of the couplers on the F unit is sagging for some reason, so I think I need to tighten that screw. The AC 4400 from Unstoppable. Well, yeah, I just don't. I mean, it was 2 AC 4400s versus, I don't know, a GP38, some F unit, and a GP9. 2 GP9s. Somebody donated $100. Wow. Well, I don't know who sent that in, but thank you so much. It's a very generous donation to the food bank. I was not expecting that. That was a pretty big donation. I recently bought 2 Illinois Central boxcars on eBay. The first thing I ordered, well, I was hoping they'd be nice. What a great deal. Hey, SMT, where did you get your Lionel ZW controller that you have on your O-scale layout? I don't remember seeing it in a video. I always like that controller because the W is my initials. That's nice. It was a gift from my buddy Liam. He basically had a bunch of O-scale stuff he was looking to get rid of, and he asked if I wanted any of it. So went through, and one of the things he had was an O-scale controller, which is something I've been looking for because my current one was not very powerful. So he gave me the controller for free, and then in exchange, I got us all a lunch in Smith Falls. So we actually ordered pizza to a rail yard, which was pretty funny. And that's also why I repaired that engine. That was also part of the deal. So yeah, pretty nice deal. Anyway, I unfortunately broke the coupler off of this. So I think we're going to have to run it with 3 locomotives instead of the 4. But yeah, it'll still be good. We're going to have this thing pull the consist too, which is going to be fantastic. Yeah, the runaway train consist is going to be a good guy for once. Have you heard of the T1 Trust? I was watching a video about that the other day. It's really impressive, you know, a group of people getting together to try to build a T1, not restore it, actually build one up from the ground. But I have to say, in comparison to a lot of these other rail-based charities, I've got a lot more confidence in theirs, just because they're actually building parts of the locomotive. So, you know, because sometimes these things get partially funded, but, you know, they're not actually creating anything. It's all just a bunch of chat. So to actually see these people constructing parts is a really good sign. And it's also, I think, going to encourage people to donate because, you know, there's actually something tangible. Can you please run the River Rossi Big Boy? I've already run that one a couple times, so if there's something else you want to see run, please put it in the comments. I'll try to angle this so we can get kind of like a view of it coming around the corner as well as heading away. That seems decent. Wonderful. Runaway train totals 7,500 horsepower. Two AC 4400s are 7,500. Two AC 4400s are 880 horsepower. Wow. So it just goes to show you 2 modern engines, I guess, are more powerful than 4 4 older ones. I still think the train from Runaway Train looks way cooler than Unstoppable. I mean, they made a really cool thing in Unstoppable. AC 4400s are very impressive looking locomotives in my opinion, but what I like about Runaway Train is that the engines look really rough. They're covered in snow. They don't really have a paint scheme. They don't look to be in great shape. And the climate of the movie, and I was out in an Alaskan winter. The whole thing, I really like how they put that all together. I support the T1 Trust and the K4 restoration at the Railroaders Memorial Museum in Altoona. Also, the National Collection supported at RRMPA. I had a fundraiser for the T1 on my Instagram, but it's done. That's nice to hear. It'd be really nice, you know, if they are successful in completing the T1. You know, I really hope the same organization will end up building more lost locomotives. I don't know. I can't tell you how cool it'd be if they brought the Hiawatha back. You know, I feel like that's just one of you know, like it's such an iconic American locomotive, which unfortunately, you know, only 4 have ever existed, and they've been lost to time. So to see one of those ride the rails, that would really be something. Because I mean, we got the big boy, that's covered. We got Daylight, that's fantastic. If they get the T1 going or something, I think the Hiawatha should be in the collection. Hey SMT, what is your most valuable locomotive? I think it's this one right here, my HCW 909. That thing cost 600 Canadian dollars. It wasn't cheap. Not usually the type of money I'd spend on a locomotive, but it's very sentimental because there used to be this tourist railway which went by my grandfather's house, and I got to see it every weekend when I was a kid. It no longer exists, so yeah, it was something I wanted pretty bad. I got 2 train sets and 10 extra cars. The scale was HO, in my opinion, about how they run would be 10 out of 10. Nice. Can you run the Australian engine? We can try to run it. It wasn't running so great last time, though. Nathan Delay, welcome. Hey, Harrison, what if I got what I wanted? Would you make myself a trolley and the wheels frame same size as the speeder you made? Maybe? Can you run the Cursed Decella Express? If I can find it. That thing hasn't been running in a while. I think it's time. Found it. The Cursed Decella Express. Yeah, it's pretty cursed, all right. Harrison, how complete do you think your layout is? 70%? Depends. Like this section right here, as far as I'm concerned, is quite complete. But yeah, the industrial section and obviously the new areas are far from. Anyway, it's now time to run this thing, which is kind of infamous on the channel because I actually flew this engine off the layout once. I was running it way too fast, and yeah, yeah, it went right into the corner, tipped over, and then it flew right off the layout. And that was after it had already been thrown into the wall by a little kid once. So yeah, this engine has not had an easy run at it. It's fast. Oh yeah, I remember now. I have a video of it. Hey SMT, you should get some buildings from Maynard's. I really like them because they're already built, painted, detailed. Most of them have bright lights already built in. I should check out this Maynard stuff. I've been hearing a lot about them lately. Maynard's. So I go brrr. SMT, do you have anything 3D printed? I have a 3D printer and find it very useful for scenery, even an entire F7. Chill. I have a few 3D printed things that have been sent in, but no. 3D printing is something I'm curious about, though. Should really look into buying a 3D printer. Could probably be really helpful for manufacturing parts and things like that. Can you run the Union Pacific Centennial, please? Sure. Have you ever bought an AliExpress train? No, I never have. I did see, I think it was Sam's Trains did a review on an AliExpress steam locomotive. I mean, it's really cool. It actually got other manufacturers of unknown brands stepping in and making their own products. But, I mean, it cost something like 50 British pounds, and, like, it looked like a piece of junk, if I'm honest. Like, it's not very impressive. What I would like to see is these AliExpress companies that are making these off-brand locomotives. You build, you know, junk engines, but at least make them dirt cheap. Then I'd be impressed. But yeah, if they're gonna try to sell really bad engines at a high value, that is very disappointing. Do you know Eric's Trains? He has an amazing layout. I think I have seen his channel before, although I think he's doing stuff more in O scale. But yeah, I think that's a good channel. Anyway. Harrison, do you have a circus train? No, can't say I do. Can you run a Rock Island locomotive? Sure. There's something else I was supposed to run. Sorry, my memory is sliding right now. The Rock Island Line, she's a mighty good road. The Rock Island Line, it's the road to ride. The Rock Island Line is a mighty good road, but if you gotta ride it like you find it. That's, I think, the lyric from artist there. Darn it, Johnny Cash. Do you have any O-gauge Marks trains? Yeah, I've got some old diesels. I feel like when you're running this thing, you got to play The Heat Is On by Glenn Frey. Poor Mark's 5-pole is just going into overdrive right now. I don't know, I do have one idea how we could make this thing a little faster. Let's see here. Oh, whoops. Okay. Okay, derailed. It's a little too fast. You got to. It's like a slot car. You gotta like let off the throttle just a little in the corner there, and then right through the corner, you gotta give it full throttle. Oh. Oh. Yeah, I almost sent it off the other corner there. All right, I think that's enough fun with that. Harrison, what if you made a video about what's your fastest locomotive in your collection and do some racing like race cars? Sounds like a ton of fun, honestly. I'm not sure which would be faster. If it would be this thing or the Spaceball 1. I have an idea, though. We can find out. It might be the Rock Island one, honestly. It's pretty fast. Where is that Bud car? Yes, this is it. It's one of these band-driven ones. These things are so fast, it's not even funny. Yeah, okay, here we go. Yeah, it might be the Marks one. Yeah, this thing though, it's tilting on 4 wheels because you see it come into the corner, the lights start flickering. That RG. It's pretty wild. Now, what we have to do here. Okay, I think the Rock is a little faster. Although that's just acceleration. Let's try putting them both on and see if it can keep pace. Okay, I accidentally rolled the Rock. So I guess that's gone. Yeah, pretty fast. I'll have to... Okay, yeah, this thing is not even reaching its top speed because that band is done. That one's gone. That band's working. Yeah, so it's pretty much running on 2 bands right now. If it had all 4, it would probably be able to go even quicker. Speed is key. Some situations. Question, can you run some NKP steam or some kind of double header? Well, I could maybe put a couple diesels together or something like that. I have the wagons from AliExpress, but the beautiful ones, they definitely fit. That's good. CN. Do you have a tank engine? I don't think so. You have a Discord server. No Discord server, no. Can you use that controller that makes sound specifically? Oh yeah, no, I have this thing. Like speakers are, they might be broken. Did you ever hear the Johnny Cash song, I've Been Everywhere? Yes! Johnny Cash made some terrific music. I also really like One Piece at a Time, Ring of Fire. I don't know if there's a song he's made that I don't like. They're all kind of fantastic. Extreme Attitude. Well, I'm off to work in the morning. Thanks for joining. Do you have Instagram? Yeah, I got an Instagram. I think it's SMT_mainline. Have you heard the Wabash Cannonball. Absolutely. Please run an SD70 ACE. Do you have a DCC locomotive? I got some DCC stuff. Just not really sure what we should run here. What do you guys want? Something off this shelf that works. CN, please. SD70 AC. I don't think I have any SD70 ACs. Can't run the Rio Grande hydraulic thing. Oh yeah, the Kraus Maffei locomotive. Oh no. This thing just popped right out. Well, it started for a second. Okay, there we go. Now we got her going. I quite like this locomotive, but it really is so strange. CN, please. You can probably get like a CN SD40-2 running or something like that. What is that called? A Kraus Maffei locomotive. It's Kraus with a, yeah, it's like K. Kraus. I don't know. Starts with a K. Very odd name, but it fits this engine because it's a very odd locomotive. I think I don't know if that's a translation though from a German word. If it was pronounced with a German accent, it would probably sound a lot better. Yeah. $224 raised. Those donations are going up. Someone's wanting Bnsf stock now. I'll run the CN first. Whoops. Let's fall back in my chair. Okay, I guess we're running this engine by itself. Do you have anything like a gas/electric doodlebug? I do have a doodlebug. I haven't run that one in a while. Maybe we should pull it out. Well, that was fun. Now let's get that doodlebug. So I know it's somewhere. Please run the Southern Pacific next. Well, I could run a Southern Pacific, but which one do you want? Can't be the daylight, doesn't run. Okay, I don't really know what's going on with this engine. Yeah, I don't think that's going to be pulling any cars. Okay. I'll just run it as is. Run a GG1 Brunswick Green. Yeah, we can make that happen. Yeah, this thing is not very fast. So there's the doodle. You can run any Southern Pacific. All right. Doublehead, the Union Pacific Centennial and the Canadian Centennial. Yeah, they've both got very different drives. Where's the GG1? I'll get it. Give me a minute. Darn it. Wow, these cars are useless. I can't hook anything up to them. Someone got their SP Power Wish, yeah. So there's the Southern Pacific. Now we're gonna pull out a GG1. CN, please. We already ran a CN. Oh boy. That was close. I thought this had one coupler. Apparently not. Maybe a goal for 2022 is to try to sort out the coupler situation with all my locomotives, because I don't care if an engine has knuckle couplers or horn hooks, but no couplers kind of prevents you from doing a lot. She's beautiful. I love this engine. It's such a nice paint scheme. This one was custom painted by someone. Gorgeous design. It's not the smoothest runner. Certainly needs a little bit of maintenance, but yeah, fine looking engine. Workshop tour. Well, it's a bit of a mess because I've just been throwing a lot of engines on it, but this is the maintenance bay. Bunch of spare parts. I got tools everywhere. A little bin. I don't know. There's not much to see really. It's a very simple maintenance thing. Might be simple, but it's a dream. No, I'm very thankful to have it. You're in your Australian engine. Okay, I'll have a go, but I really don't think it's gonna work. It sure didn't go so great last time. I opened this engine up to try to get its sound decoder working. Very unsuccessful mission, unfortunately, but along the way, I don't know what I did, but last time I tried to run it, it was hardly moving, which is really concerning. Okay. Well, that's good. It seems to have come back to life. It seems perfectly acceptable. Good. Well, there goes the sound. Oh, we got an anonymous donation for $20. Thank you to whoever did that. $20, wow. What causes an AHM GG1 to spark? Dirty wheels, not good track. If you got steel track, that could be a reason why it's sparking. Another thing is some older brands of locomotives, they put steel wheels on them, and steel wheels tend to throw a lot of sparks. It's not really a problem. It doesn't look very realistic, but yeah, it doesn't really have too many negative effects. I don't know, something weird just happened with that engine. Oh, it derailed, that's what happened. Anyway, since this thing seems to be running, maybe we should get a car. Well, I actually already got the correct car on, and see if we can have it haul some cars for... looks like the coupler height's a little messed. These cheap Bachmann couplers are really starting to grind my gears. Always failing. So here's one for the viewers in the land down under. Okay, it kind of deployed its cars, but here it's coming. What brand of track do you use, or is it a mix? It is a mix. Most of it's Atlas, but I do have a bit of Pico track as well. Most of it's Snap track, but there are also some sections where I used Flex track. But yeah, run the Monster F unit. All right, well, we can run it end to end. Fun fact, I only have Bachmann locomotives. Well, to each their own. Can we please have 2 forward facing E/F units. A lot of people have been requesting F units. Maybe it's time to get some out. But before we get a regular F unit out, we need to try to get this beast. That's so evil. What kind of horrible person builds something like this? Yeah, I like this engine a lot more than I should. People may have heard of the the Super Chief. Oh. People might have heard of the Super Chief, but this is the Super Chief. I have no idea why it just randomly tipped over like that. Top 10 saddest anime deaths. Okay, let's see if we can get it from end to end. Successful this time. I also have to run it at full throttle because it loses power over the switches. Ah, good, it didn't derail that time. That's definitely not an FRA standards. Yeah, I'd love for some, you know, one of the people that look at the MRHA or whatever, I forget what it's called. The organization, the Model Railroad Standards Association, I don't know. They're important for making sure manufacturers meet the coupling height requirements and everything, but I'd love for them to have a look at something like this and give me, probably write a diary on how many different things are wrong with it. I don't know. I'm sure it'd be a tall order. Is the turnout open or shut? That could cause derailments. The turnout is, well, theoretically, should be fully closed, but I don't have anything holding it, so sometimes this does come loose. But no, the bigger problem is the frog. Alice did not manufacture this switch right. I tried to fix it. I don't know if I actually really made it that much better, so it's been causing a lot of issues. I think I'm probably going to end up replacing it. I did get this sweet Pico switch for Christmas, though. Maybe if this turns out to be good, I'm probably going to end up putting more of those on my layout, because all the expert model railroaders seem to be obsessed with Pico. I don't know. I've only had experience with this switch, and if I'm honest with everybody, it hasn't been a perfect experience. All sorts of pieces of equipment have problems with it, but maybe it's a good brand. About the same price as Athearn these days, almost, or Atlas, I should say. You need a limo business with a car like this. That would be exciting. I forget the channel. Some automotive channel. I think it's Junkyard Digs. Maybe that. I don't know if that's the name, but they bought this limo from the 80s. This ridiculous one. I think it was basically, they took like a Lincoln Town Car or something like that, and they extended it and made it like 35 feet long. Ridiculous looking car, but I don't know. I really enjoyed that video. It's so cool. If I ever have the funds and a space to store it, maybe one day, at some point in my life, I'll buy an 80s limo. I think that could be a lot of fun. Although I have a lot of friends who are mechanics, and they really advise against buying anything like that, because apparently limos are very frustrating to work on, because when you extend it, you know, you have all these custom parts which you can't really just go out and replace. Top Gear did a limo challenge. Yeah, I remember that. That was awesome. Good old days at Top Gear. Anyway, I'm going to send the Centennial out. Hopefully it can retrieve those cars without causing a derailment. Do you have the 611? I don't have Norfolk Southern 611, no. I have an HO scale Bachmann GP38. Started smoking in reverse. Any tips? It's the 866 that everyone has. Well, if it's one of those 80s ones, or even a 70s one, 95% of the time it's the commutator. Basically, carbon builds up between the metal plates, and that causes a short, and it will actually start burning the material of the commutator. I'll see if I can find a commutator to show you. So, If it's one with a can motor, it's probably going to look more like this. You just need to clean out those gaps. If it's one of the pancake drives, well, that one doesn't have a commutator on it, so bad example. Oh, there we go. If it's an 80s one, you got to clean just between those gaps. It's usually where the smoke is coming from. I'd also check the windings, because if they look burnt, that's probably one of the issues. North American Trains. I'm actually friends with the brother of Junkyard Digs. No way, that's so cool. Wow. Let's try to get this thing all running now. Just gonna grab a water. Oh man, it got disconnected. Looks like that coupler is causing problems again. Can you run the Burlington Northern Shark Nose from Tyco? Yeah, sure. Just gonna put this water somewhere before I end up knocking it over onto my controller like I did a few live streams ago. That wasn't good, and the gauges have been messed up ever since. Do you have any Royal Hudson that work? If so, can you run it? Yeah, I do, actually. Somebody requested that earlier, too, so I don't see why not. Come on, power torque. I love the BN Shark Nose. Well, to Tyco's credit, they did make some pretty nice looking locomotives. They were never realistic, but yeah. SMT, when you said it got disconnected, I thought you meant the live stream got disconnected and we were all here where you thought the stream crashed. M&M Rails, darn, I cannot donate. Anyone having issues? I believe that if you've never put a super chat or a donation, and I think the first time I tried to use a super chat, it didn't work, and I think the donation system works in a similar way. So it's possible if you haven't done a payment through YouTube before, it might just not be processing right away. That might be the issue. But I hope that that's the case and there isn't another problem. I mean, some people have successfully donated, but I don't know. Who knows what's going on? Run a Norfolk Southern if you have one. I'm gonna run the Hudson first, but yeah, I'll try to go grab that right away so I don't forget. Let me just put some of these engines back on the shelf. All right. Got the Norfolk Southern and the wonderful Royal Hudson. What locomotive do you have that doesn't get requested as much? It's hard to say specifically, but I don't know. It's all of just the less popular engines, you know. It's if an engine's popular in real life, the model is probably popular on here as well. For example, the big boy tends to be requested an awful lot. Scrumptious model and trains, please make a shark nose. So I think the request is to put like a model of a shark nose on a shark nose locomotive. Interesting concept. How much did you spend for this setup? Because I want to make my own. Honestly, I have no idea. We'll say it's not a very cheap hobby. There are a lot of ways, you know. You don't have to buy expensive things in the hobby. There are budget pieces of equipment, but if you want to build something kind of big, it's not dirt cheap. Good. If you really want to cut down costs, though, one of the most expensive things in building a layout is the track. And the best way to cut down on the track cost is to try to avoid putting more switches than necessary. I mean, you know, switches are obviously a very important part of the layout, but today the cheapest switches that you can buy are $25. Now that's Canadian, so if you're an American, they'll probably be a little bit cheaper, which is lucky, but still, you know, you're spending $20 on a switch, you buy 5 switches, there you go, $100 out the door. So it's not cheap, but just regular straight pieces of track and corners and stuff like that. It's not that they're dirt cheap, but they're a lot cheaper. And buying straight track and curved track used is usually not bad. It will usually work. I mean, brand new track, it's going to give you less problems, because the problem with used track is, you know, it's been put on a layout, it's been ripped out, so sometimes bits of the rails are bent, and they're just little things that are not so great, but you don't want to buy used switches. Every time I've bought a used switch, it's ended up leading to problems. They never work. You also use Kato Unitrack. So here's the thing. I've never personally used Kato Unitrack, but the amount of comments I've got from people saying it's fantastic is a lot. There's a lot of people that are huge fans of it. From my understanding, it's quite expensive, but I guess if you pay the price, it's good track. So yeah, I don't know. I'll have to try some Kato Unitrack. Easy track is okay, but I don't find it lasts very long, especially if you intend to, you know, take it apart and put it back together a lot. Those rail joiners are going to wear out really fast. What coupling system do you use for your trains? The majority of my stock is knuckle couplers. A lot of them are easy mate. I don't think I would recommend them, because I find they seem to break quite easily. So, but I'm not really. I'm not super knowledgeable on what brand of couplers to get. A lot of people really like Katie's, but they're expensive. It all adds up. Yeah, that's just the thing. They're all sorts of things you can do, though. Like this layout right here, that didn't cost me much to build, because I built it on scrap wood, on a couple demi shelves we already had, so those were free. And then all the mountains, those are all just built out of cardboard and deli paper and dollar store paint. So really the only major expense with that layout was the grass. Bought the trees to use. So there are ways you can cut corners to reduce the cost, but I don't know. You do in essence pay a price when you cut corners, because for example, if you decide to buy used brass track is dirt cheap. You sometimes get it for free because a lot of people don't like it very much, but things are not going to run as well. You're going to clean it a lot more. So decisions. No such thing as a cheap hobby. I kind of tend to agree with that. Model railroading is expensive. I'm also into boating, and I gotta say that boating makes model railroading look like a budget hobby. And I mean, I'm not buying high-end stuff. I'm working with things from like the 80s, this outboard that's 45 years old and stuff, but I don't know, you start to just add up all the little expenses, it quickly bites at your wallet. Bachmann sells a track cleaner solution that's pretty good and is electrically conductive. Well, that sounds nice. Harrison, please read. Good evening. Happy holidays, SMT. Can you please run the Fairmont speeder? We just got a Fairmont MT14L speeder at the museum I volunteer at in California. Sure. That's what my dad says all the time. Oh my God. Hauling boat to the lakes. Yeah, it's not too big a problem up here, because in the Ottawa-Gatineau area, we got the Ottawa River, we got the Rideau Canal, so you don't have to go super far to get to a boat ramp, so that's not usually that expensive in fuel. But the boat itself, those old outboards, they guzzle gasoline, and I put high test in it because I hate ethanol. So that costs a lot, and then you got to add the 2-stroke oil, and if you want to get the good brand, that's also expensive. So, yeah, I don't know. Every outing, that's probably $50 out the window. So, not something I do every day during the summer months. It's always a fun treat once in a while. I walked over here for a reason, and now I can't remember. To get the Fairmont speeder, that's it. Brass track is okay for DC trains, but for DCC trains, it's no good. That's a good point. I could see that being a problem, because DCC stuff is very sensitive to dirty track. What's the brown locomotive? The one on the bridge, that's just an abandoned scene. Old Pennsylvania F7, I believe. Skip brass track, period. Again, it's not going to perform as well as nickel silver. Nickel silver is a number one. Steel track I would try to avoid as best as possible. But if you're on a budget, maybe you don't have the luxury of choosing nickel silver. That's all I'm saying. Anyway, here's this fancy little thing. After that, we'll run the Norfolk Southern engine I promised. Have you found an HO scale Newfie bullet? I can't say I have. I'll just follow this thing around. It's probably going to stop right on that switch. That's fantastic. Do you have any Alico high hood or RS units? Maybe? Not 100% sure. Anyways, let's get that Norfolk Southern on. Not even a budget thing usually. They're both pretty cheap, especially used. Well, yeah, you can, again, nickel silver. Any track that's used is going to be cheaper than retail. But brass track, yeah, since a lot of people don't like it, I find you go to like a garage sale, somebody's giving away small trains, you can usually find a box packed with old brass track, and they'll be selling it for nothing. You shouldn't pay a lot if you do find brass track, obviously, but that's one of its advantages. Does the trolley work? Yeah, it does. Just to show you quickly here. Yeah, this was actually a pretty good deal. It was 20 bucks brand new. So there's the trolley. Anyway, back to this thing. Hey, SMT, I gotta get going. Please say hello to Nerfcat and have a good night and a happy new year. Yes, same to you. Want to talk old track? I recently acquired track that was made in the late 50s, early 60s, has ties made of fiberboard, and the rails are thin stamped sheet metal. Oh, wow. I would have been really curious to see what kind of track my grandmother's layout, you know, when she was a kid in the 50s, would have been running this thing on. The thing I find very confusing about her collection is that some of her stuff is AC and some of it is DC, so I don't really understand how that all worked. Well, we are up to $250. Terrific work, everyone. SMT, you plan on rail fanning in other parts of the United States? Yeah, maybe so. I don't know. Still kind of waiting for travel to ease up a little more, but things are getting better. When brass track oxidizes, it doesn't conduct electricity. Nickel-silver oxidization still conducts just fine. That's the difference. I wouldn't be surprised if nickel-silver track is less likely to oxidize, but I would imagine if it oxidizes, it's going to cause conductivity issues. Maybe I'm wrong. I don't know. I'm not an expert on that, but if I were to take a guess, that would be the case. The thing about brass track, though, is again, you get one of those track brights. A lot of people in the hobby hate them, but they will scrape the oxidization off, and it will work fine. It's just never going to be as good as nickel-silver. Nickel-silver oxidizes less. Yeah, I'd believe that. I think silver as a metal is pretty good at not corroding easily. And you run the Hiawatha. I can run the Fox Valley one, which is, I don't know, I saw it around here the other day. Resists corrosion less, but tarnishes more. So it's good if you handle it less. I've collected both enough for slot car track and train layout, though slightly out of skill. Should I combine them or make separate tables? I plan a city layout for both. I don't know. That's really tough. Things are different scales. I don't know. It really depends on how much you care about realism. I mean, earlier I was talking about how, make a layout the way you want it, don't just build something because it's what other people suggest. But if I'm honest, I think if you're mixing scales, it might make things look a bit funny. What time are you going to end the live stream? I'm not 100% sure. Probably fairly soon-ish. I don't know. I don't have work tomorrow, so I can run things a little later. Hopefully the people living upstairs don't mind if I run this thing a little later. Be good to try to raise a bit more. That would be nice. Please read. I have an old Union Pacific unit from a train show. It runs but sputters and smells funny. Clean the wheels, clean all the electrical contacts, and if it's making a funny smell, it's probably coming from the motor. Again, I've mentioned it several times before, but most of the time it's just stuff burning in the commutator. So clean the gaps. If it has a can motor, it might look something more like this. You just got to clean out those little gaps. Older engines tend to make a bit of an ozone smell just because the commutators spark. That's normal. But if there's a strong smell, it's kind of burning. Yeah, it's probably the source. Can you run the Canadian Centennial? Yeah, sure. Let's get this thing off to the side. $266. We're up another $16, folks. I didn't see that one come in. I'm scrolling up. I'm not seeing it. Oh, here we go. Anonymous donated $20. Thank you so much. Good. We're slowly climbing. I remember the chats used to be a lot more clear. I don't know why they changed that. Can you run the GO train in the tunnel? Maybe so. Can you please run the Bowser Canadian Pacific C430 set? Yeah. Looks like the Canadian is getting stuck. I wonder if this engine's wheels are out of gauge or something, because the way it interacts with the track is very odd. Merry Christmas, SMT. Thank you. Now, let's get those two Alcos. Nice. I don't know why those were struggling a bit to start, but they're going. Handsome Alico power. Yes, it is. Can you please run the Blue Goose? The Blue Goose doesn't run right now. It's got a problem with the drive shaft. Well, those let go of their cars, just like the other engines. Uh-oh. SMT, do you just look for locomotive deals, or are you looking for a specific model? Mostly deals. I won't buy an engine if it's not something I want. You know, there have been times where I've passed up a deal where it's been an amazing price, but it's just not an engine that I want. But if there's an engine that I want and it's going for the right price, I don't usually hesitate on it. All locomotive special requests for SMT are $777.77 per request. Thank you for paying. Yeah, I don't really get the joke, but yeah, somebody's saying you have to pay $777 to request a locomotive now. Seems a little expensive if you ask me, but like I said, any price for a donation. We're raising money for the food banks. It's a good cause. I don't know. Maybe I'll do another one of these charity streams for like Toys for Tots or something like that too. I think that could be nice. Maybe $7.77. Well, that seems like a much more reasonable price. What's that giant one-piece Santa Fe thing? Oh, this is my science project. I put this together in a recent video. I don't know. I pretty much had a whole bunch of old shells and some drive parts, so I just built it into a giant engine instead of throwing them all out. All junk parts, but I think it's better than chucking them in the garbage. Would donate $20. Team up with a local charity. Well, I mean, it would be nice. It's just that, you know, if it's something that doesn't really apply to everybody, I don't know if people are going to be as inclined. That's why I picked an international organization, because you got people from all over the place watching these live streams. You ran the big Santa Fe Super Chief. We already ran the giant Super Chief, so if there's something else people want, I prefer to run that instead. Can you please run any 040 steam locomotive? Sure. Why don't we run this? Little 040. I think the 040 doesn't have enough power to haul the train around the layout because it's not perfectly even, so I'm gonna have to try to bring those cars back. Okay. Well, that's the end of that. Will you extend the stream if we reach the goal? Maybe so. I don't know. We're still a ways off. I don't know if we're gonna reach it tonight. If we don't reach it though, like I said, I might host a second live stream maybe. Derek, to me, welcome. Can you run an 060? Maybe. Oh, we got another donation. Bushy IP donated $10. Thank you so much, Bushy. Appreciate it. Now up to $276. You get $300 to get my shop out of the car inspected. Oh, 296. Nice. We're almost over 300. Slowly working our way up. One piece at a time. $100-year-old O-scale train. Ah, well, involve having to take that entire train off the track. In your opinion, what brand has the best pulling power? Rapido is probably quite high on that list. Rapido, Athearn, Kato, maybe Atlas. Walther's higher end stuff probably has decent pulling capacity, but for all the things I really like this budget Walther's engine for, I gotta say I'm not blown away by the pulling capacity. It's decent, but it's not impressive. Athearn. I think the Athearns are pretty good. The old blue box ones are actually not bad too, because you can get the super weighted ones, which they literally just throw a steel plate inside it and call it super, but it does help. And the steel wheels actually grip the track better than the nickel silver ones do. I'm soldering feeders. It's taken forever. Oh, I can imagine it's a timely process. Did you catch GVO's giveaway stream? I didn't, unfortunately. I really wish I did, because it would have been great, but I believe I was at work when it was going on. Do you have steam trains? Yeah, I got some steamers. First time being able to catch a live stream. What scale and layout side would you recommend for a starter? Scale, I mean, it's really up to you. O-scale is a lot of fun. Great big trains. N-scale is fantastic if you want to build a lot but you don't have a ton of space. HO is my favorite because it's kind of like a blend of the two. It's also one of the most common, so it's my choice. But again, everyone's got different wants and needs for their layouts, so that can be why you choose a different scale. As for size of table, I mean, the bigger the better, in my opinion. 4x8s are the most common, but if I'm honest with you, it would probably be better if you built it 4.5 feet wide instead of just 4 feet. 4 feet isn't bad. I mean, this is a 4x8, and you know, you got 22 radius, but if you built it a half foot wider, it could accommodate wider curves, and the wider the curves, the better, in my opinion, just because you'll be able to run more equipment. Larger engines will perform better. You'll have less derailments. Overall, wider curves are better. So, you know, again, if you got space restraints, sometimes you got to go with the sharper corners, but if you have the luxury, yeah, go with the widest curves you can. Well, you do any more videos on real railroads or rail fanning? Probably so. It's never going to be the main thing on this channel. I can pretty much promise that. I mean, there are so many fantastic rail channels out there, but yeah, every once in a while, I don't see why not. It's a lot of fun to do those. Have any Great Northern? Well, I'm in the process of trying to build a Great Northern engine. It's not going very well. I don't think I have any Great Northern engines as it is, which is kind of funny because Great Northern has a fantastic paint scheme. Really great point by Harrison. Getting that tad wider for 24 radius curves is great advice. It's something I wish somebody had told me when I was getting into the hobby, because all of the track plans used 18 radius, even on 4x8 layouts, which I really can't understand because it's not cheaper. And yeah, it's just the 22 radius. I really find it makes a much more enjoyable experience. How's the speeder? I haven't seen that in a while. Yeah, I might do renovations to try to get that riding the rails once again, but I don't know. I just never. I had a whole plan to get that going again this summer, and circumstances just changed, and I was never able to. But I might try again. Well, that's the way she goes. The engine still runs though. The gasoline in there, it has ethanol in it, so unfortunately it went bad and it actually clogged up the carburetor, so I had to clean that out. But it's kicking again, and this time I drained the gas tank and put some premium fuel in it, so no more ethanol. Hopefully that will last a little longer. What do you do for work? Just curious. Just started working at a restaurant, actually. Cooking up different foods. It's good. See how that goes. I'm fairly new, so I really don't know what how it's all gonna work in the long term. But yeah, I don't know. It's just good having some work. I was working at this other restaurant earlier in the year, and that was a little bit of a mixed bag at times. Anyway, I'm not really sure what we should run in terms of engines. We're a steam train. Oh, well. Try to find one. Not sure which. We've already ran quite a few of them. Actually, I just a couple days ago got this thing running again. So why don't we run that? How's the Hershey factory coming? There hasn't been much progress over the last few days, but about a week ago I was getting a lot done on that. And I'd like to continue. Oh, we got another donation from the Vintage Road and Rail, and they donated $20. Thank you so much. Really appreciated. So we're now up to $316 raised. Fantastic work, everyone. Really is great to see that. Over $300. Yeah, it's fantastic. It's really nice how generous people have been. You're in the Wakefield train. Yeah, maybe after this. Let's run this old man to a Tyco. Hello there, I just got this in my recommended. People say it's weird to like steam engines, but I don't. Thank you for making these kind of videos and live streams. I don't see what's wrong with steam locomotives. I think they're fine. Say that as this one keeps derailing, but at least it runs smooth now. Does YouTube take a cut? No, they do not. It's not like Super Chats. In fact, YouTube covers off all the administration fees, so they take the money directly from the donations and they give it directly to the charities and cover off all those fees. So it's quite generous on their part too, which is nice because it's not the same case for Super Chats. I don't know if everybody knows that, but they take a 50% cut off of Super Chats, which is quite a bit. Ever plan on selling your layout? I don't plan on it. How many trains do you have? Probably 400 engines. Can't wait till you get the feeder lines working for Hershey's. The feeder lines. I don't know what that is. Do you have any Montana Rail Link engines? I can't say I do, no. Oh, let's get that back up there. Where'd you get the big railroad signal? When I was 13, I think when I was around 12, I got this as a gift. It was from my grandparents. They found this guy who was selling these two crossing lights, and they asked if I wanted it for my birthday, and I was like, yeah, absolutely. And then they surprised me on top of that, and they ended up building this whole thing. It was just wild. Wow, 50% on Super Chats, that's steep. Yeah, it's quite a bit. And then there are also taxes applied to that, which is like 30%. So, yeah, not much of the Super Chats make it to me, unfortunately. Everybody comes along and takes their little slice of the pie. Imagine 55 radius curves. Well, after a certain point, I think it would not be such a good thing because, I mean, again, wider the curves, better things are going to perform. But also, if you make your curves wider, the center of your layout becomes wider, unless you want to build a layout where, you know, you just build it in sections. So, like, you could build a giant square and have the center be hollowed out. But anything over 22, and I think you're already doing pretty well. It's 15 radius and 18 radius that, if you have the option to, I'd suggest avoiding. SMT, can you run an Alco road switcher? I don't actually have a drawing of one my friend made on my wall. He runs DC, I'm pretty sure. No, I run both DC and DCC. A lot of people think I only use DC, but that's not true. I have a DCC controller and about 30 DCC locomotives. As a matter of fact, this Alco, which was just requested, happens to be a DCC locomotive. Oh, we got another donation from an anonymous person for $10. Thank you so kindly. We're now up to $326. Is this thing gonna cause trouble again? All right. See, this is the trick. I got this little switch right here. I move it like that, it switches the power source from my DC controllers to that. And this engine is 84... I can't remember the rest. 38. 8438. That's weird. It made the engine go quiet. We have 203 people in here and 203 likes. 1 to 1. I like it. Do you use both DC and DCC? Yes, exactly. What's your favorite engine and can you run it? My favorite engine is the Hiawatha right here, but I only run it on occasion. How do you switch from DC to DCC? It's this thing right here. It's a DDPT switch, and I forget what that stands for, but in short, basically you got two wires coming in from both controllers, and then this switch decides what the outgoing power is. It's like double pole. I don't know. I forget what it stands for. But anyway, I made a video somewhere on the channel of how to set that whole thing up if it's something you want to do. Ethan Lane donated $5. Thank you very much. $331, folks. Oh, somebody just posted the name. Double pull, double throw. That's it. So it's a DPDT switch. I got that wrong. Hey, from Chris and Dom, Merry Christmas. Yeah, Merry Christmas to both of you. Do you have any animation on the layout? I don't think so. I wish I could donate, but I can't. Well, that's okay. People were saying the donations weren't working earlier, too, so I don't know. It might just be YouTube again. The first time you put a super chat or a donation through, the payment might not clear the first time. That's what happened the first time I tried to use a super chat. I guess the bank just sees a website and I don't know, they freak out or something, but yeah, it didn't work for me the first time. I'm kind of surprised though, because Google's a pretty reputable thing, so you would think it would just kind of appear automatically, but I don't know. DC and DCC are the only power options, I think. Yeah, sort of. I mean, DCC is technically AC, although, you know, in the case of O-scale and HO, in certain cases, you can just have plain AC, which doesn't have DCC. And from what I've heard from some people in the hobby, DCC, it's AC, but it's AC squared, so I guess the pattern for how the current goes back and forth is slightly different. I don't know. I'm not the one. I'm not the one who should be explaining that, because I don't know exactly how that works. But it's not just regular AC, from what I understand. Merry Christmas, SMT from Scranton, Pennsylvania. I got a Union Pacific Overland for Christmas. Well, congratulations on that. You're in a GG1. Yeah, sure. We'll let this go around for a couple more rotations, and then we'll switch it up. Sorry for all the question, but what is the longest engine except for the long Santa Fe? Probably the Centennial. And there's a signal that travels through the rail for DCC. I always enjoy watching the live streams. How do we know when you're doing one? They tend to be really random. I don't plan these live streams very well. I mean, a lot of people have a schedule, but in my case, it would be very challenging to do that just because I don't have a very consistent personal life. Everything is just kind of all over the place. Even in work's case now, it's not a consistent schedule. They want all sorts of different days, and I don't know. There's something happening. So trying to plan a stream on a specific day would be really tricky. So I kind of just do them when I do, but I know that does make a bit of a challenge for some people, you know, when I'm just randomly doing these things on. Of course, you can't always turn notifications on, which helps, but that's about it. Please run the Centennial for my cat. Cats like Centennials. What's your opinion on the AHM passenger cars? I just ordered some and was wondering if you like the quality. Well, I think the AHM cars are the same as the old Rivarossi ones, and those were okay. They're quite light, as far as I know. So I wouldn't go too fast around corners, but yeah, I think they're all right. It's called a free spirit. I guess that's one way of looking at it. Yeah, not one day is like the other. Every day there's something different happening. Working on a Discord server right now. I'll try to have a notification button so you can stay updated that way. Well, there you go, folks. Your boy Liam is putting together a Discord server for the channel. It's fantastic. Where's Nerf Cat? Probably upstairs chilling like a villain. Running an Amtrak train. I think I finally found the Amtrak P42. It's happened again. For lighter cars, I put old metal screws on the frame. I glue them down so it's heavier. I've done similar things. I put washers down or bolts or things like that. In some cases, I've also, I've had scrap pieces of lead from like old solder and stuff. And lead is fantastic as a weight. I mean, it's very, very dense. There's a reason why they call it a heavy metal. So it can be very good for that. But if you choose to use lead, you got to be very, very careful because it is quite toxic. Yeah, I don't know. I'm even paranoid just being around the stuff, frankly. I mean, I know technically, just as long as it's not being aerosolized or anything, you're being careful not to touch it and then touch your face or something like that and your eyes and things. It's not that dangerous, just as long as it doesn't get inside, but it's not good stuff. Having said that, who knows what kind of... That engine I worked on a few days ago, that probably had lead paint in it. SMT, did you ever see the pictures of the cut-in-half Amtrak GG1 Amtrak once used as a shop switcher? Yeah, I've seen that thing. I mean, it's good they didn't just decide to scrap it, but it's, I don't know, it looks kind of depressing without the other side, honestly. Very odd. I use lead fishing weights. Huh. I don't know, when I was building my Wakefield train, I actually packed that shell full of lead, and I also, with one of the trains I was running outside, I filled the shell up with a bunch of old strips of lead, and it really does add on the weight. But yeah, I was doing that outside with gloves on. I used to use lead solder too, but I stopped using that just because I'm like, I don't know, this stuff just can't be good to be hanging around. What size plywood are you using for your layout? I didn't build this table, so I couldn't tell you. I think for the extension, I might have used... I think it's 1/2 inch. Yeah, it's got to be 1/2 inch. I wouldn't use 3/4. It's probably too thick. I mean, model trains are not that heavy, so you can use pretty thin plywood. The only advice I would have is, make sure you put a lot of beams on the frame of your table, because you don't want the wood to warp or anything like that. So, and check out the piece of wood you're buying. You know, you go to a hardware store, you look down at lengthwise. That's something I learned. I was at a trade school there in construction. Always look at the piece of wood before you buy it, because there are better pieces than others. Princess Auto has a lead shot you can buy. You can fit lots of nooks and crannies. Well, that's good to know. Princess Auto too. That's pretty easy to find around here. Well, yeah, I love going to Princess Auto. I don't think Princess Auto exists in the States, but it's kind of like Canada's equivalent to Harbor Freight. How much time do you think you spend in a year in the hobby? Oh boy, I don't know. I probably couldn't count the hours up, but the amount of time I've spent in this basement. It's possible that over the years I've spent an entire year of my life down here in this basement. It's very possible, because I spend a few hours down here every day. So you add that up over 20 years, and yeah, it's probably a year of life down here. Maybe more. SMT, what lubricants do you use on your locomotives? Mostly Labelle products. I'm not brand loyal to them because I haven't tried a lot of other brands, to be honest, and Labelle is actually pretty expensive in comparison to other brands, so I'm not even sure if they're the best. But yeah, most of the products I have are by Labelle, and for grease I use Labelle 106. For oil, it's usually Labelle 102. Seems to work all right. A lot of people recommend super grease, which I think you can even buy at a hardware store. It's not a model brand, so that's an option. And I would avoid using things like WD-40. WD-40 is a good thing if you need to get something unseized or something. It does an okay job, but it's not a good lubricant. Dries up very quickly. Even recently too, I don't know, there's some random forum, there's some people saying SMT recommends like spraying your locomotives down with WD-40. I'm like, I don't know where they got that from. I advise people actually against using WD-40. Happy Boxing Day. Yeah, same to you. An ailment that is not too common in the general population, but is an epidemic in the model railroading world, is too widus bench workus. That's funny. Try tungsten sheets. It's more expensive. It takes less of it, so you can add more under the shell. Interesting. Can you do a hand reveal? There you go. Is the Walters lubricant set any good? I've never tried it before. It might be something I should, so I can... It'd be cool to do a video comparing all the different brands, and I don't know, maybe take four different locomotives and see if it affects current draw and performance and everything, and find out what the best brand finally is. What do you use to lubricate small plastic gears? Probably just light oil, honestly. Metal gears, especially old brass ones, you know, I'd recommend putting a fairly thick grease, because there is a lot of friction between those parts, and if you don't lubricate them right, they're going to wear down really quick. Plastic parts, it's one of the few advantages of plastic is, you know, they tend to be very smooth, so especially like nylons, they don't need very much oil in order to work properly. Worm gears, though, Yeah, in any case, a worm gear is something I put oil on just because it is a spot where there's a lot of friction. Mine went bust. What did? Casey's Polar Express. Nice work on the food bank, SMT, Caden shocked. Well, nice work to everybody. It's a collective donation from a whole bunch of different people. I just realized this thing for the donation is actually it's like a gauge. That's cool. What locomotive do you think you've spent the most time fixing? Well, the Hiawatha is definitely one, but most recently this Alco engine. It's such a frustrating engine. I can't even begin. The amount of time I've sunk in on it is just, it's ridiculous. It's not even finished yet, which is the depressing part, but yeah, like... I don't know, this thing, like, I like to think I'm a patient person, but I was half ready to throw this thing into a wall the other day just because it just kept having problem after problem. You've just got so many spots where things can go wrong, parts kept popping out and things like that. Anyway, I did finally get it running, and then right after I finished filming, it broke down again. I bet I know exactly where it went wrong, too. Okay, I'll just drop that screw on the ground. I have to go retrieve that, but yeah, this engine, I tell ya. It's way better. When I found this thing, it was in horrible shape, but yeah, what happened was, like, I got this thing like 90% of the way fixed. Things were looking pretty good for it, starting to run, and then part of the drive link ended up just breaking on it, and I had to just use some heat shrink tubing in order to try to make a new drive link, but it can't withstand the stress of the gearbox and keeps coming apart. Lol, Vern. You know it's a hobby town. So, yeah, but I do have it running, so hopefully with a bit more effort I can get this thing working properly. And I don't know what happened with the painting, too. Usually the paint goes on pretty even, but something went wrong, I think, with the rattle can I was using, and it didn't disperse the paint properly, so the paint looks kind of messed up, too. So, yeah, overall, a lot of things went very wrong with trying to fix this engine, so not one of my more fun projects, unfortunately. The gear tower is a nightmare. Yeah, absolutely. There's so many things that can go wrong with it. It's really no miracle. It's really no surprise that it has a lot of problems. And, you know, I don't have the video up right now, but once you guys see just how many things, it wasn't just the design of the engine, but the original owner, because this would have come in a kit, they didn't build it properly, so that was not great. And then it had been sitting for probably 30 years, so all the oils, everything inside it, which was all over lubricated, dried, and got stuck, and I had to soak the parts in diesel fuel. It never ended. SMT, do Walters still make the Lifelike trains or not anymore? I'm wondering. I'm pretty sure last year or the year before, Walters finally discontinued Lifelike as in their starter sets. But to my knowledge, they are still making Proto, which was part of Lifelike. So, in essence, Lifelike is still around because Proto, I believe, is still around. But conventional Lifelike, the really cheap stuff, I think that's all done with now. So, which is too bad because I actually I like Lifelike because they were dirt cheap manufacturer. They didn't build very good products, but they were priced accordingly, so I'll give them credit there. It's unfortunate, though, because at one point, Bachmann was building cheaper sets. Like, at one point, Lifelike, which I think was like 2011 or something like that, maybe it might have been 08, Bachmann released their set, which was a DCC starter set. Really fancy. 2 DCC locomotives, a DCC controller, everything. Fantastic set. And Lifelike came out with a set which was supposed to compete with it, and it was 2 locomotives, old DC and stuff like that, and it cost nearly the same as the Bachmann one. So the Bachmann set was like 10 times better than the Lifelike set. So it's too bad because at one point, yeah, Lifelike was building a really budget stuff, and Bachmann was too. Lifelike engines are reliable. Yeah, I mean they're cheap, but even the pancake motors, again, they're not good quality, but they're so simple. There's not very much to go wrong, really. Like most Bachmann engines, like if you compared an 80s Bachmann engine to an 80s Lifelike engine, on paper the Bachmann one is better because most of them had all-wheel pickup. They had, you know, proper nickel silver wheels. There was a lot going for them, but just unfortunately through small design flaws, they never lasted as well as the Lifelikes. Even those 70s Lifelikes, kind of junk, but they're tanks. I should sell all old unused Lifelike cheap. Do you know that Lionel's been around for 121 years? I knew they'd been around for something like that. They're a pretty long time standing manufacturer. Lifelike is pretty much extinct. You can still find kits online though. Yeah, especially their stores and stuff like that. And I think you can even still buy Lifelike products on like Amazon. They're not rare. They probably won't be for a very long time. Do you mind running a CNO or BNO? Sure. I think I'll call it a night pretty soon because it's starting to get kind of late. But did some good fundraising. Got $331. Not bad. Now, CNO or BNO? Trying to think of what Baltimore and Ohio engines I have. Oh, I've got something interesting here. I think this one's a Baltimore and Ohio. I think you should get some G-scale trains. I don't think I have enough room down here for G-scale. Doesn't look like the coupler is working on that. Oh, this thing is not running very well. How long have you been collecting? Since 2006. That's when I got my very first train set. Oh, there's the BNO. Let's scale. It's HO. Not a big fan of G scale. I don't have a problem with G scale. It seems like a nice scale. I just don't think I have enough room because they physically take up a lot of space. You're on the GO train. Oh, sure. I don't know. Still got 10 more minutes until it's 11, so. We'll keep them going. Somebody else wanted the BHP Australian engine, so I guess we'll get that running as well. I don't know. Maybe we can try to get 2 of them going at the same time. I don't know how well it's going to work because, I don't know. We'll have the Australian locomotive haul these cars around the layout for 1 or 2 turns, and then we'll run the GO train. Probably is the final train of the night. What's your favorite moment on the channel of 2021? Interesting question. I have to think about that for a moment. Let's have a look here. The Australian engine derailed. Yeah, I think my favorite moment on the channel is probably the buying shady model trains off of Etsy video, or eBay, I should say. I don't know. I had a lot of fun putting that one together. Where's Nerfcat and how is he? Nerfcat's probably just somewhere upstairs. How is he? Oh, I think he's doing pretty good. The second car derailed. I don't think so. No, they're all on the track. This just doesn't sit on its frame perfectly. Here's what went wrong. The switch, even though I put some stuff in its way, somehow flipped and sent this on the wrong direction. What video editor do you use? It's nothing fancy, it's iMovie. But it gets the job done for well, what was a free editing software. It's pretty high end. Hey SMT, how are you enjoying the Royal Hudson a year from buying it? I just bought the Rapido version with DCC/sound and love it. I'm very happy with it. For what I paid, you know, it's not the most detailed of the bunch, but it's what I wanted. Here's iMovie as well. It's pretty common. I think some more professional YouTubers use things like, you know, Quick Cut Pro, or I don't know if that's the same one as, was it Adobe Premiere, or of course Windows Movie Maker. That's a high-end one. Movie Maker. Please run CN. You bet. Yeah, Windows Movie Maker. It's picture like directors in Hollywood putting together some real what kind of movie would it be? Something high end, you know, and they're all just around an old Windows computer with Movie Maker open. Oh yeah, this is gonna look great. They get like the Comic Sans text for the scenes. Michael Bay, that's the actor, that's the director I was thinking. Michael Bay. They're trying to film like a Michael Bay movie with all the explosions and everything, and they're all around. They're huddled around a Windows computer with Movie Maker open, trying to put it together. We're good. 100% throttle. No, it's 40%. Yeah, this is there's 100%. run tractor in reverse. I think people want to see a derailment. You cannot underestimate those Athearn Bombardier cars being run backwards on 22 radius curves, and they are not derailing. Mint. Do you like Canadian Pacific? Yeah, I do. Okay, maybe I spoke too soon. I think it was because I was decelerating. I think that kind of changed something. That's wicked cool. Backwards speed. Like push-pulls on the real RS. Yeah, exactly. And I do have the correct car on the back as well. With the driver's controls and everything. So that's pretty nice. Do those coaches run on 18 radius curve? Surprisingly, yes. I mean, this layout is 22 now, but when I had 18 radius curves, these coaches could handle them fine. The couplers would make clicking noises, but they could handle them, which for the size of cars is very impressive. I've got to give Athearn a lot of credit. They did a very nice job with the Bombardier bi-level cars. Did you hear that the Southern Heritage unit derailed? No, I did not. That's too bad. I hope that isn't too bad. Like 2 weeks ago. Metrolink runs behind my house. I see them every day. I think they use the same style of cars, or at least they did. I think these Bombardier cars are not very rare. I don't know. I know Go Rail uses them. There's some railroad in Texas that uses them. Pretty common across North America. Are you excited for 2022? I mean, I don't know. It doesn't really make a difference probably, but this year has definitely been challenging at times, especially early on, so moving on to a new year, starting a new page doesn't sound like a bad thing. So, yeah, I guess so. I know Sounder uses them. Sounder? Haven't heard that here. Huh. Where'd you get that railroad crossing in the background? It was a gift from my grandparents. They found these two lights for sale. Some local guy was putting them on Kijiji, and anyway, so they bought those as a birthday gift, but they didn't tell me they were gonna build this whole sign. They crafted that all up themselves by hand, and they wired the lights in with a small 12-volt DC transformer and everything. So yeah, really nice. Anyway, we're now 11:02, so I think I'm going to finish off the live stream. Thank you all so much for joining in this evening. I really do appreciate it. I hope you had fun watching the trains run today. And thank you to all of you who donated to the food bank. I managed to raise $331. So, yeah, really nothing to balk at. Very nice, everyone. Anyways, I think we're going to call it a night. Thanks for watching, everyone.